Gentlemen, ladies of honor,
the warriors, yes, sir. Conquerors, respect.
Steel yourselves as we embark in the next yearly journey through the new anime season. For it is foretold that the upcoming shows are a sight to behold. Yet we cannot venture forward without reflection on what has come to pass. For that is what gives us our growth, our learnings, our experiences. So it is now we look at what shows left their mark in the year of 2025, as we have a dialogue about our top 10 new anime of yesteryear. So please grab yourselves a seat and join me. Who knows, you might find yourself a gem. Now, let us begin. The absolute quickest way to get my attention is to involve an MMO and an isekai. A wild ass boss appeared, takes an MMO gamer, and traps him inside the body of his black winged tyrant avatar, Lufus Mafia. Lufus. He created this character and in-game became a conqueror and one of the top PvP players in the game, akin to a demon lord. So much so that he had to set up a final PvP team battle with all the other top hero players forming a team to go against his player Lufus and the NPCs he recruited. After an epic battle, the heroes won, defeating him, only for him to then awaken within the body of Lufus, within the world of the game, 200 years after his initial defeat. However, the defeat of his character unleashed a new terror upon the world, and he quickly learns that this new world he's been brought to is not the same game he played. The two things that shocked me the most in this show was one, the animation quality of the battles, and the story layers they peeled away with each episode. They could have kept it simple like the other MMO isekai. Oh, the player is now his OP avatar and leave it at that. But they actually added depth because he starts seeing memories that don't exist to him, but to the actual character he created. The show tells an amazing story while constantly adding interesting characters to the roster. His NPC teammates are out there spinning a block after his defeat against the heroes, and I don't want to spoil anything, but just know he has a literal Terminator goon on his squad and it's hilarious. This show was way more fun than I expected it to be. My gift level 9,999 unlimited gacha backstabbed in the backwater dungeon. I'm out for revenge. These long titles be hilarious. This show is added to the list for its potential and for borrowing from the Overlord playbook, which for those who may not know is my favorite isekai of all time. Although this one isn't an isekai, it's your standard low-level weak protagonist who gets betrayed and bullied by a party of racist species who view humans as an inferior race. Our protagonist Light gets backdoored in the most dangerous dungeon, and right before he's sent to the pearly gates, gets teleported to the deepest part of the abyss, and in a fit of desperation and rage discovers that unique unlimited gacha ability he has, which usually only produced garbage, can actually spawn ultra rare overpowered cards, leading him to summoning an army of max level 9,999 badass female warriors, maids, assassins, mages, you name it! Years pass and he develops his own kingdom within the abyss, levels himself to the max, and begins orchestrating his revenge on the party that betrayed him and plans to wage war on the surface in search of the truth for why he was targeted for death. This was such a fun watch because if I said it once, that means I've said it before or something like that. But I love when they have the OP squad, and they each have enjoyable personalities distinct to their character, with the only common trait is that at the core, they are willing to burn this bitch down for Light. What I enjoyed most about this show was the revenge tale. Light fully takes advantage of his OP abilities and summons and stages specific scenarios for each individual in the party that betrayed him. He wants to maximize their despair and suffering before eliminating them. And what makes it hilarious is that the show perfectly encapsulates that Joker quote from The Dark Knight.
In their last moments, people show you who they really are.
当方は被害者なのです。お願いです。助けてください。僕様はこいつに騙されたんだ。
Would you like to know which of them were cowards?
The level of switching up you see these people do when they realize how powerless they are against Light and his goons is comedy. But this was very enjoyable. You have an OP protagonist out for revenge and answers. Depending on if he likes what he finds out, he could either be the one to raise the world or liberate it while erasing the discrimination.
その反応で十分だ。褒美に死以上の苦しみで絶望を与え続けてあげよう。
Jesus!
If I were to recommend anyone who wished to get into anime a show to watch to test the waters before diving into this wonderful medium of media, it would be a show like Supercube. It is time to put respect on the donghua. From the movie quality animation where you can see that they are constantly dedicated to providing you with the greatest visual immersion with every episode, to the wonderfully executed comedy with relatable characters and a simple premise for an enjoyable ride with the occasional pothole of a dark twist to keep you surprised. The blood, sweat, and tears poured into the combat you see in this show is some of the best choreographed and animated scenes. And it's with every fight. They don't hold off and splurge for one final climactic encounter. Each fight looks like a budget-busting masterclass. A passion that is only matched by the main character's passion to protect his girlfriend. Long story short, normal guy Wong gets a hold of this mysterious cube that grants him superpowers, which he vows to use to protect his girlfriend Shen Yao, if I said that right. This cube is also a key to him potentially being able to transport to an entirely different space of superpowered beings, as he is not the only one. But per the course with these powers, he is met with disaster when his powers are tested in what could only be compared to the Bruce Lee movie Game of Death. Wong has to save his girlfriend by fighting his way up this tower with a different opponent on each floor, with the fights getting more intense and difficult and extravagant. And if that sounds interesting enough, that's just the appetizer. This show is insanely fun and will have your eyes glued to the screen from start to finish. I feel for those fans who miss out on shows like these due to them being in Mandarin or Chinese and not the usual Japanese for sub-watchers, so I guess it's a bit difficult for some to adjust their ear to it. Even though they do still dub these in English, treat yourselves. You might find your favorite anime in a donghua. Hell, let these companies take over some of those popular Japanese titles they fumbled. They'll awaken their full potential, but Supercube was an awesome watch. The old water and oil tale. Two fundamentally different and compatible groups that struggle to coexist. No truer case than with the Oni and the Momotaro, who have been at war for generations. On one side, you have the Oni, humanoids with the power to manipulate blood with varying abilities, attempting to blend in with society and live. Cursed with the constant threat of losing control and becoming an untamed, bloody behemoth looming above their heads, forever paying for the crimes of their demonic ancestor who brought disaster to humanity. On the other side, the Momotaro, if I'm saying that the right way. The opposing force to the Oni, giving rise out of necessity to prevent the destruction brought on by the Oni who battle using bacteria. And their goal for some is the complete extermination of the Oni. And caught in the middle of this is our main character Shiki, who believes he is a regular student until one fateful day he awakens his powers as an Oni and his father gets killed by a Momotaro. Now he's brought into this eternal blood feud between the Oni and the Momos. This was a good one. I love when shows give you both perspectives of an ongoing war and both sides can be right. You would assume the Momos are the villain, but the show does an excellent job showing as to why they desire to take out all of the Oni. And on the Oni side, you see them constantly living the fear of not only having to prevent going berserk, but also being hunted just for being an Oni, due to what the ancestors of the Oni did generations ago. I love that dynamic. This show gets bloody and it gets dark. It has great comedy. I love seeing how each character's unique experiences shape how their blood ability works. Shiki was a gun enthusiast, so he can use his blood to conjure up firearms and grenade launchers, lasers, all type of crazy shit. Both sides have some crazy and innovative abilities, so the clashes were always fun to see. But what I loved the most was the desire to find a middle ground, a way for both Oni and Momos to coexist, to prevent one side from completely wiping out the other. I definitely see this show climbing to popularity with the future seasons because I am definitely ready to see more. Hear me and hear me good. There will not be a show that pulls on your heartstrings, that tests your patience, that will make you weep. Tears shall flow. The dams will break. There will be no other show that will invoke that anger, depression, hope, triumph, anything. No other show will hit those notes like Takapi's Original Sin. I was crying. I'm talking about that incoherent talking type of crying. This show was so damn good, bro. Takapi's Original Sin follows an alien octopus Takapi, who is a Happian from the Happy Planet, whose main goal is to simply spread happiness throughout the universe. And unfortunately for Takapi, he ended up landing on Earth. I don't envy any individual who would be tasked with making humans on this planet happy. But he runs into main girl Shizuka, a young girl dealing with serious depression, bullying, family neglect, etc. And so with seeing Shizuka is in dire need for some happiness, Takapi makes it his mission to bring her this happiness and tackle the issues that she faces on the daily. However, even for a happy alien, Takapi begins to learn that even he may be in over his head the further he's let into the darkness and cruelty faced by everyone he meets. I loved this show. The best component was the fish out of water aspect with Takapi. He was completely clueless to the darkness that was around him. He doesn't understand what arguing is, what it means to kill, what it means for one to take their own life. There would be an intense, serious argument going on, and he'll just be sitting there like, he thinks they're being loud because they're having fun and they're happy. To avoid any redundancy or repeating myself, I'll advise you to check out my complete Takapi's Original Sin review after watching, of course. From the art style to the dark themes explored, they do not hold back just because these are kids. The lessons learned by everyone, the extreme desperation everyone has to find what little happiness they can and cling to it for dear life, like hanging on to that last bit of rope, keeping you from falling into the abyss, but you're slowly sliding. And Takapi is desperately trying to extend his hand, tentacle, and keep you from falling, but the weight is too much, and you can end up dragging both you and him down. This was indeed a watch. I get teary-eyed just thinking back on it. A beautiful dark tale about an alien trying to bring happiness to these kids who've never found it.
全部
全部私が
Here's a Twitter stain on the back. What the fuck is that? It might be doo-doo.
You've never known true pain till you have to run for your life from a man flinging garbage juice infused doo-doo at you. That is true terror. Which is the perfect segue into the show that quickly punched his way to the top of the popularity charts, Gacha. Our main boy Rudo is framed for murder and is then dropped from a floating city, dubbed the Sphere, and dumped into the pit where all trash from the sphere ends up. A land mutated by the abundance of trash which gives life to trash beasts, Rudo ends up developing a power to use vital instruments, items powered by anima, energy that gives these items certain abilities, allowing those capable to take out the trash beasts, giving rise to a collection of trash beast slayers known as the Cleaners. Rudo ends up joining the Cleaners and in search for answers to the relationship between the sphere, where high-class royals live, and the ground, where the trash and criminals from the sphere gets dumped, and who framed him for murder and why. This was such a fun journey. I love how they expanded the world on the ground. We assume, along with Rudo, that the ground is just an underground dumpster, some sewer dump-like environment.
I always thought the pit, or the ground, would be nothing but trash. Instead, it's trash and real food and people and cities.
And now Pandora's box is open. What the hell is the sphere, and what is that abyss that sits in between the sphere and the ground? It became so intriguing, and then you add on to that the vital instrument power system, people's personal items becoming their weapon. The absolute best thing about this show to me was no doubt the camaraderie, the unity between the Cleaners. They stand 10 toes down behind one another. Bro, you mess with one of them, you gotta worry about all of them. The comedy, chef's kiss. No spoilers, but the hardest I laughed in this show involved someone flexing. The battles were good, I loved every character, and in fact, my two standout performances were Rio and Jabba.
Here goes.
Hey, Rio had me laughing hard too. She a real killer. If you know, you know. Wink, wink. I wish I was talking spoilers here because they had a scene where they showed something that somebody managed to see and it gave me goosebumps. And it was just like, what the fuck is that? I need answers. I am invested. Oh, and I almost forgot, but look at that.
Engine?
Hey, boss.
Boss?
Listen, fucking niggas can't touch me. Apply the pressure with the VVS. I drive the foreign like it was a shift.
Love to see black excellence.
Oh!
If there was ever a show that had everything you could look for, comedy, action, murder mystery, emotional moments, world-ending events, aliens, mech battles, giant monsters, all wrapped into one cohesive narrative simply about a hotel awaiting the return of humanity, it would be Apocalypse Hotel. This show was the biggest surprise of the year because I had no clue what was going to happen. You would not expect to see what you end up seeing in an anime about a hotel. Here's my rundown from when I had it as one of my recommended shows, so I don't end up just repeating myself.
Play it again, play it again.
Welcome to Gingado Hotel, the last hotel remaining on Earth after a virus forced humans to flee the planet, leaving nothing left but plants and wildlife and the robotic staff of the hotel, whose prime directive is to provide the best experience to their guests. Our acting manager, Yachio, awaiting the return of the humans, is determined to remain the best hotel not only on the planet, but in the galaxy, welcoming any and all guests from all over the universe. With Earth now vacant, this opens up visitations from species all over, leading to into a wonderful watch. The way they managed to give the robots who don't even speak personality and the emotion and comedy, this show got me teary-eyed a couple times. Easily one of the watches of the year. Seeing her desperation for humanity to return play out, evolving her character, the metaphor of Earth itself becoming a hotel for visitors. They even have some crazy action episodes in here, cause you never know where the episodes are gonna go and what's gonna happen. Highly recommend it. Now back to your regularly scheduled program, and I stand by it. One of the best watches of the year. Love the story, the characters, the animation. This show had everything for you, and I would love to put in my reservation for the Gingado Hotel.
We live in a world where heroes are forged by trust. You have the power to create heroes. And with hard work, you can become a hero too.
To be Hero X, how dare you? How dare you not have more to give me when I require it right now? The way they leave this show off, I was so hurt. What I enjoyed about this show were the parallels of people deifying their favorite celebrities or artists, etc. All of that admiration and praise, all of that gets quantified and converted into trust, giving individuals superpowers. And the power is indicative of how the public sees you. Prime example, Firm Man. He was a firefighter who saved this little girl by holding up a collapsing roof. And even under the weight of a collapsing building and the heat surrounding him, flames, he stood tall, saving the life of this little girl. As a result, he became seen as a hero that can always stand tall. Literally, he has to always stand tall. He can't bend his knees, yo. He can't wipe his ass. That is a horrible superpower. He can't even lay down and go to sleep.
What am I gonna do about my legs?
This was a refreshing take on the superhero genre, taking that philosophy that anyone can be a hero and actually making it a reality. What are you willing to do and endure to reach those heights? Will you be able to climb the ranks and become that Hero X? To become the strongest? It threw me off at first because we spend time with the character and then switch to a completely different story. And then it later hits me that they're telling a collective of stories, puzzle pieces, if you will, that all come together by the end. There's twists and turns, shocking moments. The action, of course, is the main entree a la mode. This show actually has one of, if not the best fight of that year, and the cliffhangers are a mother. They know how to really take the viewer on the ride. But Mr. X, Mr. Current Hero X, I guess that's what he's called right now, that dude there is gonna be giving Gen Wu a run for his money when people start discussing these new characters who have the most aura. Forget all that, bro. Imagine how powerful Michael Jackson would be in a world like this. Sakamoto Days was one of the most anticipated shows to drop. Sakamoto is easily one of the baddest new characters to hit the anime field. The most badass new characters to hit this field. You have the most elite assassin of an underground association attempting to retire and live with his newly found family, but his past won't let him escape what he is. Isn't that the plot of John Wick? But instead of a wife and kid, he got a dog. Either way, shit fire. Sakamoto, fire. Shin, a psychic assassin, fire. Liu, former mafia drunken fist fighter, fire. His wife, his anchor, his limiter, a dedicated beauty. His ultimate support. She knows who he was and what he used to do. She's there to keep him from going back to that life. Fire. Heisuke, boy, y'all know who I'm talking about. The master sniper with a pet bird and he can hit a flea nipple from 4 football fields away. Fire. Every member of the Order, a collective of Looney Tune assassins. Nagamo is literally a shapeshifter. He can even change other people's anatomy. They have Michael Myers in assassin form, an old dude that slices through anything like butter. They got Goth Assassin Babe. They even have the Elite Ops. This man name is Slur. It even feels nasty just saying his name. And this man is a monster. It really just feels like one big battle royale of crazy assassins. I seen this man Sakamoto take a plane wheel, then he spun the wheels and rode that bitch like a scooter into the skies. This nigga Sakamoto held a tower in place using the tension wires of a structure, pulling the upper half of the building back into place while standing on the side of the building in slippers. I know for a fact, in his prime working days, this man was untouchable. I was gonna try and make a video about who would win between this guy and Yoro Forger, but I'm sorry, Yoro baby. I don't know if you want these problems. As it stands right now in the animes, respectfully, Sakamoto is ahead right now. Unless she does some crazy assassin shit in her upcoming season. But if there were to be a show that was more interesting, it would have to be the one I have at number 1.
There was once a hitman said to be the greatest, and his name was Taro Sakamoto.
Zenshu. Hey yo, this shit is so catchy. It's so catchy, goddammit. To the surprise of absolutely no one, because I've already said it when I recommended this show, that it would probably be my new favorite anime of the year. I crave good isekais. And if you can manage it, I absolutely love an isekai that feels new. With this major influx of generic isekai flooding the market, when one that can stand out, give a refreshing experience comes about, it indeed puts a smile on my face. What makes Zenshu feel different, you may ask? Well, allow me to explain. Zenshu takes our main character Natsuko Hirose, an aspiring animator, and places her inside the world of her favorite childhood movie, A Tale of Perishing. A movie that ends with the demise of the main characters. However, seeing as it's her favorite movie, she's aware of everything that happens, every character, even down to the minor interactions and details, behind the scene motivations and traits of these characters. So she knows how the movie ends and must prevent this. And to aid in her journey to prevent this movie's ending, she's granted the ability to give life to whatever she draws. So she must utilize this ability to keep herself and the characters safe and prevent everyone from dying by the end of this film. However, she's also dealing with a very terrifying possibility. Is she really saving the film or merely prolonging the inevitable? And that's all the surface level details. The characters and their development was awesome. The plot, interesting. The animation. Let me tell you something, Mappa, I need more Mappa isekais. This was one of the most beautifully animated shows I have watched that year. The way the characters were so vibrant and popped in this fantasy world was simply amazing. The action scenes, incredible, and there's one wonderfully complete story. I don't know who Mappa was trying to make a statement to with this show, but I salute you. This show was so good. It was like a movie within a movie. If y'all watch anything from this list, because I'm pretty sure this one flew under a lot of people's radar, please do yourselves a favor and watch Zenshu. It'll be that breath of fresh air that you're searching for, that momentary reprieve from the standard you have gotten used to with this genre. Zenshu is my number 1 new anime of the year. And there we have it, my fellow anime warriors. My top 10 new anime of 2025. Of course, no sequels were included on this list. I wanted to focus mainly on new shows. I tried Lord of Mysteries. I gave it a solid 6-episode run, and I still ain't know what the f was going on. But that's enough of my yapping. Now it's your turn. What were your top animes of 2025? What would your vital instrument be if you were in Gachiakuda? Mine would probably be my laptop. or back in the day it would have been my PSP. Would you be able to survive if you were transported into your favorite animated film like Zenshu? Who would actually win between your Forger and Sakamoto? And what animes of this year 2026 are you looking forward to the most? Let me know down in the comments below. I appreciate you all for a great year and more to go. We are in for a treat with this upcoming year in anime. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Join the lounge and grab yourself a seat. Share with your friends or anyone who loves anime like us.
Tell your friends about me.
I appreciate you all for watching, and as we always do when we close out, let's all raise a glass in the air. Here's to anime.
It might be due